So the National Commission on Teaching in America's Future was really proud to be a partner in the release of the Teaching and Learning International Survey a couple of years ago. We think that this report is critical. It's the only report that really asks teachers about what their conditions are like, why they're doing the job that they're doing, and how their job could be improved. And so we really encourage the United States to continue to participate in TALIS, and we really encourage teachers, principals, and school and district leaders to allow the TALIS survey to come into their schools so that we can capture this teacher voice around these critical issues. We have used the data at NCTAF to really help tell the story of the kinds of working conditions where U.S. teachers are, what kinds of conditions they're working under, and what they see as needing to be improved. One of the biggest pieces of data in the TALIS report that we were surprised by was the juxtaposition between whether teachers want to be in the teaching practice and then how they think that society views them as teachers. So over 85% of teachers in the United States reported that not only do they want to be teachers, but that if given the option again, they would become teachers again. That's a pretty stunning belief in their profession. And yet those same teachers, when asked, what do you think society thinks of teachers, only 30% of those same teachers, 89% who said they would come back and be teachers again, only 30% believed that society valued their profession and the work that they do. That's something we've got to turn around and change. We can't have the people that are responsible for our children's futures feeling undervalued. If anything, they should be some of the most valued employees in this country. So the demographics in this country are changing enormously. The United States Department of Education is reporting that more than 51% of our students are living below the poverty level. So we need teachers and school leaders who are prepared for this huge shift, not only in the demographics of language and religion and color, but also in addressing these issues around poverty. And we need to see this as a huge opportunity. This is a shift in education that's positive because we can raise the education level for all kids. I was really surprised in the school leadership report today that one of the findings was that internationally, the TALIS data shows that schools that have the highest needs kids also have the highest levels of collaboration and of reflection among the teaching population. The United States was not represented in that data, but I would argue that it's exactly the opposite in the United States. That in fact, teachers and leaders, especially the most effective, most veteran teachers and leaders, are inequitably distributed across this country. And that the schools that need the strongest teachers and leaders have the most inexperienced, and the conditions in which those teachers and leaders are working are not collaborative, don't provide opportunities for reflection, and we see just a huge flight from those schools. Either teachers leave those schools to go to a different, easier school, or we see teachers leave the profession altogether. So the Every Student Succeeds Act is a huge opportunity for this country. We have a chance now to put the decisions at the local and state level that can really help to address these inequities that exist in the system. But this is going to take support. We need to support state leaders in building coalitions that all want a new and different kind of education and that want it for every student. We need to make sure that leadership commissions at the state level include voices from across the system, from the school level, from the district level, and from the state level, as well as the many constituencies that need to have a role in what a new education system looks like. But honestly, this is a chance to redo. So we have a chance to think about education differently, and we need to take advantage of that chance. This isn't going to be something that's going to happen overnight. You're not going to wake up on May 31st and have it be one kind of education and on June 1st be a different. But we have the capacity to put in place systems change and to start to make sure that all of the pieces of the system are working collaboratively and in unison, all with a different target for education in mind. So I see as a huge opportunity, but one that's going to take work to make sure that we achieve everything that we can out of that opportunity. I had the chance several months ago to visit a school in East Oakland. And this was a school where the community of the school leaders and the teachers was all targeted toward helping students. And this was in one of those areas where high stress, high need were everywhere that you looked. But the school environment was someplace where students could come and they could be safe. And it was because of those leaders and teachers that were around them. I had the chance to hear one young woman share her senior thesis, as it was. And she was doing a literary analysis of the Kite Runner through 4 different genres of literature. And she did a fabulous job, knew more about these genres of literature than I certainly did. But then she started the next part of her presentation, which was to do an analysis of the Kite Runner through the perspective of her own life. And in the context of doing this, we learned that at age 17, her father had been murdered. She had been arrested for drug possession. She had left the school and made the decision to come back to the school because she knew that education was that important. It was so emotional for her to share this insights about herself as compared to a piece of literature. But I think the thing that was most telling is when she finished, and the room was full of a bunch of us that were visiting the school, and some of her family was there, and there were other students from the school in the room. But when she finished, the person that she went to with tears streaming down her face was the principal. And it was that principal with open arms who had created this community of safety and this vision that education was critical to achieving what you wanted out of life. It was to that principal that she went when she had finished this very emotional presentation. And I think it speaks to the difference that teachers and leaders can make in young people's lives if given the chance to have that place to grow and that belief that each student can do anything that they want to set their mind out to do.